Okay.
Good evening, Doc Sports families. Rafael Esparza and Robert Faringo here on another Doc Sports Wednesday live show. Hopefully, you guys are all having a fantastic day. I know Faringo's having a fantastic day because he always has a fantastic day. What's going on, Robert?
Yeah, it was such a fantastic day. I had a root canal this morning, so that was a blast. So yes,
You're doing much better than I would have thought on a root canal. So I'll give you
drinking,
I'll give you
drinking to
that
numb
one.
the pain. Drinking to numb the pain, my friend.
We got some new signups on there. Black Thor King, I love the name. He signed up this morning for a Doc Sports family member. Welcome to Doc Sports YouTube page. Black Thor King, love the name. Melanie Burke joined also this morning, and Daniel's been in the chat telling us about the Knicks are in trouble. Knicks stink. So Daniel, welcome to the show. I agree with you about resting Joel Embiid. They cannot let him play every minute in the game and expect him to show up to practice the next day. I mean, they need him, but man, he looks awful in the fourth quarter. It's just pitiful how bad he looks. Don't you agree, Fringo?
Yes, 100%. But no, you can't sit him and you can't really put him on a minutes restriction. You just have to do a better job of managing his minutes early in the game. I think that's going to be easier to do at home because guys that you're bringing off the bench will get a little jolt from the crowd. It's easier. I feel like it's easier to pull something like that off with resting him at home than it was on the road in an elimination game. And I mean, look, I don't want to minimize his Bell's palsy or anything like that. Okay. I understand that he's not 100%. Nobody's 100% right now. And playoffs are a legacy, long-term reputation building thing. So he's got to find a way to play. He's got to find a way to be effective, and he's got to find a way to lead this team from behind and get that win, force a game 7 where anything can happen. I think there's definitely going to be value on the 76ers, but with the underdog winning outright the last 2 games, this series is pretty much up in the air.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And then when I'm more excited to watch the late game between Dallas and the Clippers. I mean, everyone's, oh, but there's no Kawhi. You don't think the Clippers are not used to not playing with Kawhi? There's no shock value
Seriously.
into that one. Numbers are starting to move. Just when we jumped on air, Dallas now 2.5. Clipper money has been coming in all afternoon and stuff like that. A couple of offshore books also have 2.5. So it would not shock me by tip off. It's a solid 2.5. I don't think we go to 2. In that one, but it would not shock me if we see 2.5 by tip off. I do like a player prop in that game for a free play. I guess I can announce that Kyrie Irving over 25.5 total points. If you didn't see Luka at warm-ups today, his knee looked like a bionic knee. He had that, I don't know what the kind of that black tape. I don't know what they call that black tape on how they had it all wrapped up today while he was at shoot around. He's not 100%, and I think Kyrie Irving's going to have to carry this team. I thought this number would have been like close to 26, 27. So getting 25.5, laying, I think it was laying 3 nickels earlier when I saw that Kyrie Irving total points tonight. I think he has a big game if the Mavericks want to stay close or even win this road game.
Kind of surprised that they're still favored on the road, to be completely honest with you. Does that surprise you at all? I mean, the series is 2-2. It's been pretty even across the board. I just don't know what Dallas has done to warrant being a road favorite here, really. I mean, they got hammered in game 1. I thought they were kind of lucky to win game 2, and they just lost at home in game 4. So it's still a little surprising how much love they're getting from the books, basically. Does that surprise you at all that the Clippers weren't a -1 or that this wasn't a pick, that they're still actually laying points on the road?
I like the Mavericks to win this series. I really thought it was going to go 7 games. So then, if my theory goes, I can either hedge. If I did play it, I didn't play to get game up to 7 games. But I actually thought they would have been a -1 favorite, road favorite, and then see what the money dictates who was going to be the favorite at tip off. But I was actually shocked that it was mostly 3s when I woke up this morning. If you're looking at the Clippers +3, because like I said, if the Clippers are used to playing with Kawhi, and I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Harden's been playing so much better with no Kawhi. He's a different player when Kawhi's on the court with him. So when he's not on there, I think Harden plays better with him. when he's not playing. So I think PG-13 has a big game as well. So Harden and PG-13. First of all, Clippers need something to do with Westbrook. Westbrook cannot score single-digit points in this game because I think they only played 7 guys at their last game. They need some more bench play and bench scoring if they want to win this game.
I think the less Russell Westbrook that they see, the better. That guy, I mean, that guy's a loser. That guy's beat. I know he put in some big minutes for them during the regular season, but that was kind of out of desperation because guys were so injured, because they were trying to load manage guys for the postseason. But no, I think the less Russell Westbrook we all see, the better off we are as NBA fans. He's one of the reasons why, even though I think there's a little value on the Clippers, I don't really understand why Dallas is still such a hardy road favorite. There's no way I'm betting on the Clippers. There's just no way I'm betting on James Harden in the playoffs. There's no way I'm betting on Russell Westbrook at all. That's why I passed on this game. I have a futures ticket on Dallas to win this series. So obviously I have a rooting interest, and that's enough for me. And I feel like that's what's driving a lot of the betting in this game as well. People are just kind of doubling down on, if they thought Dallas was going to win this series, then they just assume that they're going to win this game, and they're not really looking at the value, and they're just kind of betting on what they hope is going to happen.
You can still get Dallas at -180 to win the series, which is kind of weird on that one. So if you still want to bet the series price, I agree on that one. Someone asked in the chat, I think it was Timmy, Boston cover. I ain't touching that game. 14 probably won't even watch that game. There's better baseball games in NHL. Boston should be able to take control of this one, but no Porzingis, I wouldn't be shocked. I was hoping to get 15 or higher, then I might have looked at it, but I think Boston wins, covers. I don't know. I think Boston finally puts away the misery of Miami.
I would take the points. I believe one of the handicappers
I
think Strike Point Sports, I think that they have a play on Miami just because it's do or die. Boston has been so bad bad at home, freakishly bad at home the last 2 postseasons. Miami's always a good underdog. They got hammered in the last game. Spoelstra always makes adjustments. And honestly, 15 is just a lot for a playoff series. I mean, they've already proven that they can beat this Boston team. They've proven they can get blown out by them as well. But they've proven they can beat them and that this isn't completely one-sided. So, yeah, 15 is too many. I take the points.
Whereas Oilers in the NHL, I'm going to tell you right now what I think about the NHL. I have to be the world's worst NHL handicapper right now in the world. Yeah, you don't want none of my 2 cents on this one. I can pick an NHL winner. I pick a game, they give up 2 goals. I had Nashville the other day when they gave up 2 goals in a blink of an eye and they lose in overtime. It's just rough. I like the Oilers. I kind of like the under more. I think DraftKings still had 6.5 before I logged on this one. I kind of like the under on this game, so that means it's probably going to be 10-2 final. And because I said I like the under, but I do like the under more than the Oilers in this one. It's just hard to pick a home team in the NHL now these days.
I like the under in that game as well, but I'm way more interested in the Vegas-Dallas game. I kind of like Vegas there. Road team is 4-0 in the series.
Unbelievable.
I was talking about this with a friend. Yeah, but it's kind of not though. Like I was talking about this with a friend Saturday night. Like I need to go back and look up the numbers, but it feels like every year in the NHL playoffs, one of the number 1 seeds gets knocked out in the first round, right? Like I bet if you went back and looked at the last 10 or 15 years, the number of times that a number 1 seed in the Eastern or Western Conference got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs would be shocking. Okay, like statistically improbable. So, Dallas was able to stabilize itself by winning in Vegas, but they are definitely not out of the woods. Definitely wouldn't surprise me to see one of the underdogs win tonight, just the way that the Western Conference playoffs have gone. So I think that's where the value is.
Daniel's asked about the Lakers coach. If you're the Lakers, what do you do? I want to hear what you do before I answer his question with the next Lakers coaches.
What do I do? I mean, there's nothing they can do. Like they have so much money tied up in LeBron James and Anthony Davis that there's limited flexibility. And it doesn't matter. They need some depth they need 8 or 9 guys that they can go to so that Davis and LeBron don't have to carry so much of the load during the regular season. LeBron's still a great player, but he's not what he was 4 or 5 years ago. Like he just doesn't take over like he used to. I think they got lucky this year with how healthy the two of them are. There's just not enough depth and not enough talent. I got to tell you, like, who would want that job, really? You know what I mean? Like, all you do is get blamed if LeBron doesn't win a championship, when the reality is they're not very good. But if you want to ask me who I would go out and get if I were the Laker, I'd go get Mike Budenholzer. All that guy has done is win everywhere that he's been. Go out and get him. Try and get a little bit younger on the bench. And honestly, it's at the point now where you almost have to start looking past LeBron instead of trying to like shoehorn in one last run for him to get a championship. I think the Lakers are better served if they start looking towards the future so that when he retires, they don't just drop off the map for a couple of years.
Yeah, I agree. Budenholzer is the favorite at 4-1 to be next
year's
head
really?
coach. Yeah, Terry Stotts is 6-1. Phil Handy 7-1. Tyrone Lue 7-1. There's no way Lue's going to just change locker rooms. Oh, not even locker rooms, because the Clippers are going to get their own arena. But I do think Ham is gone. They're going to be looking for a new head coach. The only thing the Lakers can do is dangle Austin Reeves and try to get someone. But then you're getting rid of. Then like you said, they're going to give away some depth on that. I know they're looking at someone for a point guard, because I think that was their Achilles heel all season long, with point guard. Did they go get Trae Young in Atlanta? But then you have to dangle two-year guys. You have to get to one person. So there goes your depth. I think they're stuck with what they have.
I mean, if they're dumb enough to give up like Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, and D'Angelo Russell for Trae Young, I mean, I would do that in a second if I was Atlanta. In a second, I'd get rid. Like, again, Trae Young is just a loser. All that guy does is lose. Going back to Oklahoma, I'll bet against that guy anytime, anywhere. If the Lakers think that getting another ball-dominant player on the perimeter is going to help them, and losing what little depth they have in the process, I mean, go for it. All right, Timmy the Tulip asking Houston or Cleveland. I got a little burned last night. I had Houston on the run line. Honestly, it was a stay away for me. Verlander is getting priced as if he were a 32-year-old Justin Verlander instead of the guy he is right now. That -180, -190 is too rich to play straight up on the money line. As I mentioned, I got burned on the run line last night, so I don't really want to jump back down that hole. I do think it's an indicator line that Houston hasn't been playing very well. Cleveland has been playing well, playing a little over their heads, to be completely honest with you. So the fact that they're such a big underdog, despite the success that they've had, I think they're only 2-4 in their last 6 games, though. So they're coming back down to earth. So it's just a bad number. That's not a game that I would play.
I agree. Horrible number. And it's dropping down. As you can get -170 up in a couple Vegas books. DraftKings has 185. FanDuel has 175. BetMGM has 173. So it's coming down, but again, it's still too rich for me. Like I said, for you nailed it. Verlander's getting the price like he was a 32-year-old. Granted, he still has the hottest wife in baseball, but I would say yes, I would stay away with that one. Someone asked in the chat, Arizona or the Dodgers. I can't believe Jordan Montgomery was scratched because of bees. That's why he didn't pitch yesterday. It had nothing to do, wasn't arm tiredness, back spasms, wife in labor. He got scratched because of bees, not killer bees. What happened to those killer bees in Africa a couple of years ago that they were going to come take over the world? Bees. Now he's pitching tonight. This Dodger team, I don't understand that this Dodger team should be the best team in baseball, and they're not. They don't get clutch hitting as I thought they would be doing. I would take a shot at Jordan B. Montgomery at the plus money spot.
I definitely like Arizona. They're at home. They're a good team. They're motivated for the series. And I just don't trust Yamamoto. He had a really good outing, his last outing. And we've seen this a lot with Asian pitchers when they come over here. Like, I remember this with Daisuke Matsuzaka, with Hideki Matsui. Like, those guys are really erratic their first year, right? They're usually
not my guy, Manga, not my guy.
Yeah, definitely not. Like, MVP, Cy Young, all rolled into one. But they're usually pretty erratic. So the fact that he had a really good outing his last time out, his last 2 starts have been against the Nationals and the Mets, 2 pretty terrible lineups. I think the roof is open again today in Arizona, so the ball should be flying a little bit. I hit on the over Monday. I was really mad at myself. That should have been a much bigger play. Like that definitely should have been a 7-unit play on Monday, but I'm not doing really well in baseball right now. So, you start, the self-doubt creeps in a little bit. You know what it's like when you get on, when you're in a little bit of a rut, that self-doubt kind of can creep in a little bit, second guess myself. But yeah, roof's open. I'm expecting the ball to fly. I'm definitely betting against Yamamoto, who I think is going to have a letdown.
And it's asked, Orioles Kings, my book moved the over under to 6 from 6.5. Does that mean money is coming in on the over? That is correct. Well, it depends on what book you use. Some books just move numbers off the screen, not money coming in. So it all depends what book it is. I know a good 5 books in my hand that move numbers, not on bets because they see another book move. So it all depends what book. But yes, that usually means that. And I would say look at live betting on that as well, because if it stays 0-0 and stuff like that really early, you can probably get a better one. Offshore deal, then no, they're probably not moving. They're moving with money coming in, because I'm sorry, U.S. books, offshore books still will outdo books here in the States. Just my 2 cents. Don't tell the bosses.
Absolutely. And I'm not surprised that money is coming in on the over after they played a 1-0 game. Yeah. People are expecting that bounce back, that regression. The first 3 games of the series were high scoring. All season, this Kings team hasn't been the same style and type of Kings team that we've seen in recent years that were more clutch and grab, great goalie play, that wanted to play that low scoring style. They will try and get up and down the ice with Edmonton. It has not worked in their favor, but the Kings were able to steal a couple games from Edmonton last year in the postseason. They already got one in this series. It really wouldn't be surprising to me if they were able to pull an upset. And if they're going to do that, they're going to have to score some goals. I said before I like the under. I still do. I see 4-2 in this game.
I agree. I know you said you like the Golden Knights. Does Hill being in between the pipes help you with that play for you?
I got to tell you, I'm not a big goalie handicapper guy when it comes to hockey, because with rare exceptions, I don't see a huge drop off. And especially in a playoff series like this, sometimes going to the backup or going to another guy, that guy will come out and stand on his head just because it's the playoffs and, the senses are a little bit sharper. Maybe the other team has a little bit of a letdown because, we're not facing their number one guy. This should be easy. The guy has a little bit of success early on in the game, and then it just snowballs from there. So I don't factor in the postseason. I do not factor in goalie changes at all in my handicapping in the playoffs.
I can see that. Someone asked me, Raptor, do you any take on totals in the NBA? I do. And that was going to be one of my last free plays before the game starts. I know the Boston Celtics are -14. I know the Celtics will probably finish off the Heat. But give me the team total over for the Miami Heat. They will score. I think it's 85. I'm going to try to find it right now. I should have had it up early. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 93.5. Give me the over. I think Miami puts up some points on this team. Even if it's a blowout, you figure they're going to probably try to score on this one. I like Miami Heat team total over at 93.5 in this one. So that was my thing. Cubs question mark.
Yes, the Cubs are very questionable. As are Cubs fans, very questionable.
I agree. I like Guma on the mound tonight, but man, their offense has just been pitiful as of late. And because they're missing so much of their powerful offense with Bellinger out, Ian Happ is not hitting like he was last year. So I don't like the game. I don't like the number. I thought the Mets should have been like -120. Granted, I know Mike is pitching phenomenal, but the way the Cubs have been swinging the bats, I'm just going to sit back and watch them. I think the under is the best play at 7.5, and it's probably will be 7 pretty soon, because I just saw 2 books just move it to 7 as we speak. So, I mean, DraftKings has 7.5 -125. That just tells me that they're going to move it to 7 really quickly.
Yeah, if you can still get 7.5, I think that's the play, because not just the Cubs, the way the Mets have been hitting the ball, their offense has been awful. I I don't trust them at all. Nimmo's hitting 200. Lindor is below the Mendoza line. The Mets just don't have, and they don't have anywhere to turn. I'm almost getting to the opinion. I know they're at 500. They've been playing better lately, but the Mets are not a very good baseball team. They're a team that's going to win 74, 76 games. So yeah, there's no way I'd bet the Mets tonight. Let's put it that way. I'm with Raphael. I don't love the number with Chicago being the road favorite and taking the majority of the action. I would look at the under. Weather's not going to be a factor in that game. And I would just make make both of these lineups prove something to me if they want to beat me on a bet.
Casey, I agree. Kansas City's been playing some really good baseball, beating Toronto. And there's another team. We just talked about the Mets being a mediocre team. This Blue Jays team is going to be a mediocre team. Both teams, I think I said that with you last week, Toronto and the Mets are going to be huge sellers, I think, during the trade deadline if they continue to play baseball like the Mets in Toronto. So I like this game. This AL Central team's fun to watch. Detroit Tigers, fun to watch. Kansas City, fun to watch. The White Sox are no longer the worst team in baseball. So Cleveland's a shocker. I mean, they're not going to stay as hot as they are, but this AL Central team, I believe, is fun to watch.
I'm not buying into Kansas City just yet. They got a lot of their wins they've stacked up against the White Sox and Toronto. And, no.
I just said they're fun to watch. I didn't think they're going to make the playoffs and do a playoff push. I just said they're fun to watch.
Okay, so speaking of fun to watch, interesting trend, and this kind of goes into what we were talking about with the Mets and Cubs. I'm not conspiracy theory guy. I'm not throwing it out that MLB has tampered with the balls again or something like that. But I heard a really good stat going into Monday's games. At the same point last year, there were 18 Major League Baseball teams. More than half the league had 30 or more home runs. Okay, so at the same point in the season last year, more than half the teams, 18 teams, had 30 or more home runs. This year, heading into Monday, 7 teams, 7, not 17, 7 teams had 30 or more home runs. I think only one team had 40 or more going into this week, where last season it was like 6 or 8 at the same time. Home runs way down, scoring's way down. I've been banging on the under more. It screwed me last night. Some bullpen meltdowns really kicked me in the balls last night. But scoring's down. Scoring's down again. And when scoring is down again, you got to be careful of those run lines, and you got to look underdogs. Okay, lower scoring games means tighter games, means more fluky things that can happen. I think that's why Oakland's roster is pathetic. I can't believe that they're playing as well as they have been. They've been in a lot of close games, really. They've been in a lot of low scoring games. I think that that's why they've been able to win at the rate that they have been, and why they're not down there with the Rockies and the Marlins and the White Sox with 6 or 7 wins where I expected them. So don't get caught waiting for the offense to come on in baseball.
Daniel says Minnesota Timberwolves stalled. It's gonna be a great series, Minnesota and Denver. If Minnesota can stay out of foul trouble, then I think they'll get a series. I just think overall, talent wise, depth wise, I think the Denver Nuggets have better depth than the Timberwolves. But Ant-Man has been just phenomenal. Yes, Daniel, the Yankees need help in bullpen as well.
I want to go back to that T-Wolves thought. 100%. I like them. I absolutely think that they can beat Denver. I think it's a really good matchup for them. They have the 2 big guys that they can throw at the Joker. Not a lot of teams have the benefit of that, Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. And right now, Jamal Murray, look, he had a clutch shot the other day. He's been phenomenal in the postseason. He's not 100%, right? So you have the Ant-Man, who is 100%, who is in form, who does want to make a statement for himself. So you have him going full throttle against a banged-up Jamal Murray. And then when you look at kind of the wing players, the length that Denver has with their role players and their other perimeter guys, Minnesota matches up with them really, really well. So I don't know. I think that this is a bad matchup, and I think this is where Denver is going to kind of rue the fact that they didn't play a little bit better and get that number 1 seed and make Oklahoma City and Minnesota, have that death match semifinal. If Denver survives, I don't know if they're going to have enough left to come out of the West. I do not see Denver going back-to-back this year. I think that this could be the series that they lose because of the matchup.
Plus 170 series price right now for Minnesota. And yeah, but luckily he's going to have 4 or 5 days rest before game one. Pope was hurt last game as well for Denver, so that can minimize. But like I said, I can't wait to watch OKC. I love OKC. Well, how they're young, they're so youthful, they're so deep on the bench wise. I still think that the Denver Nuggets were going to win just because of my repeat factor. UConn repeating, Vegas Aces repeating, Kansas City repeating. I was going with the repeat.
Very scientific. That's very scientific that you have there. Just
and I got the script, the NBA final script. So I mean, I got that in advance. So that's what I was looking at. So the Western Conference is just going to be so much better now. With these other series starting, I mean, no offense to the Boston Celtics, but I think the East is not going to be as good as these Western Conference matchups between OKC and the winner, the Mavericks, Clippers.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because I think that Cleveland can give Boston everything that they could handle. Like I said that before the playoffs started, that Cleveland is a team that just has not been healthy consistently throughout the year. But when they are, their top 6 or 7 guys, and remember, we're in the playoffs, benches shorten, rotations shorten. I think Cleveland matches up really, really well with Boston. I think that they could definitely take a piece out of them.
Yeah, it should be. I think that series. I still think Boston wins that series. I'm not saying. Well, first of all, the networks do not want Cleveland in.
Sure. Let's put it this way, though. But especially, let's say Boston covers this line tonight, right? Let's say they cover the 15 points. They whitewash Miami as they should. But then they go in and they play against Cleveland. Where's that number going to be in game one? That number is going to be 7.5, 8, somewhere around there. I don't think so. I think that Cleveland is good enough to hang around with them. I really do.
Well, it's a big weekend. I mean, we only have a couple minutes left. Anything big you got coming out of the weekend? We got Derby, we got UFC 301, we got playoffs in both NHL, NBA, baseball, UFL. I know you don't do UFL, but it's just this is probably one of the busiest fun sports weekends. Everyone thinks, it's football. There's no football, blah, blah. But this weekend, Kentucky Derby and Cinco de Mayo weekend, it's always fun, sport wise. What do you most enjoy? What can't you wait to watch?
Derby. I love the Kentucky Derby. I was one of the guys, I forget what year it was, that went to Docs and was like, hey, let's do this up big on the Derby day. Let's get a few more handicappers releasing picks. I want to release picks. I know we have some guys that are knowledgeable with horse racing, and we've had a lot of success. I mean, God, that was almost 14 years ago, I want to say, when I first released Kentucky Derby plays. And so every weekend, I love it. It sounds stupid, but I remember with my kids, when my kids were really young, we would bring out these horses that they had that they could ride. We'd put them in front of the TV. And I remember my 2-year-old and my 7-year-old, as soon as the horse race started, riding their horses along with the TV, and had some really, really big Kentucky Derbies, had some really, really disappointing Kentucky Derbies, but it's always fun. It's always something that's a little bit different. I like the immediacy of it. I love handicapping it. There's so many different angles that you can approach it at. So it really is it's something completely unique and something completely different for handicappers and for bettors, rather than, breaking down another baseball pitching matchup or breaking down another NBA series or something like that. It's something completely unique. And, for somebody that does this 365 days a year, I appreciate new. I appreciate unique, and hopefully bettors do as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do horses all season long for Docs, mostly just weekend, mostly stakes races. So I'm familiar with these horses that are running on Saturday. So that I feel like, not saying I had the edge on anyone else, but I know whose runs on Slopwell. This one looked bad at Bluegrass, but the wind was bad, or is a jockey change and stuff like that. So I'm excited for the Derby. I think there's a lot of good horses, and it's gonna be a bomb. I mean, there's no way, we talked earlier, there's no way Ferociousness wins this race at the 17th spot. She's not even the favorite anymore. The number 2 horse, Sierra Leone, is now the small favorite. So I think we're going to, if you hit the exact and try, you better get your social security number ready because you have a signer coming up on that one because it's going to be a bomb, 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 bomb. I have a feeling for this Kentucky Derby, but I can't wait. There's UFC 301 at nighttime. Canelo Alvarez fights on Saturday night as well. So it's, I can't wait for it. This is going to be a fun a sports weekend.
Hey, I want to get to a few of the questions that are out there. Somebody asked before if we like the Heat plus 14. Raphael said, absolutely not. No way he's playing that game. I said I passed on both games tonight in the NBA, full disclosure. If I had to pick a side on that game, I would take the points. I think 15 is too many. Timmy the Tool Basket, they do a video on handicapping NASCAR. Can't tell if that's sarcasm or not. I'm going to assume that it's not. The guy to talk to is Tony George. Reach out to Tony George on his social media. He's a big NASCAR guy. Don't know how he does it, but he's actually really good at it. This guy has put up some big numbers in NASCAR betting and auto racing betting. So if you really are interested in that type of thing, Tony George is your guy.
I agree. Tony would be the only one that I think that I would trust on speaking NASCAR out of all our handicappers. No disrespect to any of the handicappers, but I think he's the only one that does it. I could be wrong, but I would say definitely Tony George is the one to ask about that one. And I did say I like the Miami Heat team total over 93.5. I just wouldn't play the game as well. But another Doc Sports Wednesday live show has been in the books. For Ringo, I want to thank you again. Back-to-back Wednesdays on there. I can't remember who we have next week on the board.
I believe we have Nolan from Strike Point Sports is jumping in there. The Up's going the week after that, and then I think I may be back the week after that. So
Griffin and Nolan will be here next week, hopefully, and stuff like that. So it should be a fun one. Both guys know their stuff, so I can't wait to watch that one. So, Fringo, thanks for joining on in. Good luck this weekend and a very busy weekend. Good luck in baseball. Playoffs and Derby. Have a great weekend. And everyone who's watching, we had some new members in here. Kenneth, Daniel, you guys are always here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. And remember, please don't bet what you don't have. Have a fantastic evening, fantastic weekend. And moderator, you too have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for everything you do.
Take it easy, everybody.